What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It is your boy All-Star Lewis, and this is lesson 2 in my tutorial series. In this lesson we're going to be talking about basic clutch control and basic throttle control, along with a little bit of braking, and then just get you moving ever so slightly. Just as a first point, I do normally wear leathers. I always wear leathers. My jacket is right there. I've literally taken it off while I'm just in the car park because it is bloody warm, and sitting very still in a leather jacket is rather hot. But yes, always wear gear. So I've got my gloves on. I'm only going to be going a few miles an hour, so it should be fine. Right, so in lesson 1 I covered the components and the parts of the bike, and then obviously once you know what everything does, you're going to want to get on, you're going to want to get moving. A lot of people want to just jump on and get going, but you really do need to work on, you need to get used to your clutch, and you need to get used to your throttle. The other two most important things. If you have really good throttle control, you're going to constantly be in control of the bike, and that is more important than anything. Your body controls it. It's not a car. You're not just sitting in it. If you stall, if you make a mistake, you're surrounded by a metal box. On a bike, it's you against the elements. If you make a mistake and you go down, it doesn't matter what speed, it's not fun, it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna break your new baby. So it is something to really have a go at. So get yourself to a car park, even in your street. Obviously, you know, if you can't obviously ride to a car park, then in your street, anything like that. So we're going to go through some basics, the way I like to remember things, the way I like to learn, and we'll go through that. So first off, obviously, is when you get on the bike, so your body position. So you want to be nice and comfortable, you want to be right in the center of the bike. You want to make sure on your bike you don't want to be putting, obviously depending on whether, mine is a super sports, I'm pretty far forwards. Obviously if you're on like a tour or something, you're going to be higher up and straight, so but you don't want to be putting all your weight or too much grip onto the handlebars. Basically you should be gripping with your feet and your legs against the tank like it's a rocket between your legs that is constantly trying to escape you. Grip it, because that's going to keep you in control. It's going to help you move the bike. And if you use all of your weight and too much squeeze on your wrists and stuff, you're just going to get very sore very fast. You're going to get a lot of cramp. It's just going to hurt. So you don't want to do that. You want to be nice, and basically when you're holding the handlebars, you should be able to sort of wiggle your arms like that, and that shows that you're nice and loosey goosey. I can't remember who said that to me, but loosey goosey. Right, so we're going to get it on. So let's get the bike on. So turn to the on position, wait for the onboard checks to do. Like I said in my previous one, to turn on I have to pull in my clutch. So pull on the clutch. That's my bike on. Right, so to get right, we'll talk about gears first, because obviously we need to put it in gear, obviously, to then move. So at the moment is in neutral, obviously. So your gears, as I showed you in the last one, the way I like to remember the gears is basically depending on how many gears you've got. But if you imagine, I'm going to take my glove off just for a second because it's going to be easier this way. So the way I sort of remembered it was, if you imagine these are your gears, okay, so basically what you have is neutral is there. So this is neutral. So what you need to do is you need to kick it down to hit first, and then from then on it's obviously up the gears and down the gears. So you're in neutral, you kick down, so you stamp it down to get into first gear to take off. Once you're in first and you then start moving and you want to move up, you literally just kick up, which is going to go second, third, fourth, fifth, and then basically kick back down, so all the way back down. So neutral is basically half a click between first and second. That's why you have a neutral light, because obviously it is slightly confusing, and you know, it's a bit weird, but that's how I like to remember it. So there's your gears, neutral is there, always down into first, and then it's just up and down. So what you usually do, if you're in gear and you want to get back into neutral, what you would usually do is kick it all the way down into first gear, and then once you're in first, you want to give it just a slight little tap up, not too hard, just a little tap, and it should just go straight into neutral. Your neutral light will come on, and then you can let go of your clutch and do whatever you want. So that's how I tend to remember gears. If you have a different way of remembering, then that's obviously, everyone is a little bit different. But get these gloves back on. So the first thing you want to learn is the clutch. So you want to get used to your clutch. You want to find out where the bite is, and get your bike moving ever so gently, just using the clutch. So you can move the bike just using the clutch. So find the bite, which is the point in which the clutch engages, so you're then getting movement from the engine into the wheels. So what I'm going to do, pull the clutch in, I'm going to kick down, so down, That's a perfect time to show that. Sometimes, I don't know if it's all, but my last 2 bikes did this as well. Sometimes when you're in neutral and you try and put it in first, you'll kick and kick and kick and nothing will happen. If that ever happens, literally all I ever do is just let go of the clutch, pull the clutch in again and kick again, and it works. So if you ever at a stoplight or anything like that and you're in neutral and you're trying to get into first and it's just not working at all, just let go of the clutch, kick it down, and then it should be good to go. So I'm now in first because obviously, as you can tell, the neutral light is now off. So what I like to do is basically, like I said, just find the bite. So what you want to do is just slowly release the clutch, and then you'll get to a point where your bike will start. So I'm not touching the throttle. You'll get to a point where your bike, there you go, see my bike's starting to move. If I pull the clutch in, stops. Okay, I'm just going to push it back with my legs because I don't want to go too far ahead. So slowly release the clutch. When you get to the point where you feel it wants to move, you want to hold it there. You want to hold it there. So that's your bite. So that's the point in which the engine wants to move. So that's basically what you need to do. Is if you keep doing that for about 5-10 minutes, anything like that, basically what you want to do is you want to get it to become muscle memory. You want to get it to the point where you know where that is without even concentrating, without even trying. Your fingers just know where that is. So you can see, so I'm not touching the throttle at all. My feet are now up. I'm literally not touching the throttle, and I'm literally just using the clutch. Just using the clutch, keeping the clutch on the bite. Obviously this will take a little bit of getting used to. Obviously don't expect to be able to ride around on the clutch straight away, because if I bring it in, it's going to stop. If I put it too far, it's going to stall. So you need to be at the perfect sort of bite point. This is a good little way of doing like slow maneuvers. So if you're doing a U-turn on a road or something like that, it's a good way of doing that. Back where we start. So I'm just going to kick it back into neutral. So a little half tap, you should see the light come on, and then I can let go of the clutch. Awesome. So finding the bite is very important. So want to just keep practicing that. Just find the bite, letting it move a little bit, pull it back in, find the bite. Like I said, just do that. You can do it for 10 minutes, you can do it for half an hour, do it as much as you want until you feel comfortable with that. Next thing you want to do is throttle sensitivity, so throttle control. When you first start, doesn't matter what power bike you've got, obviously the more powerful it is, the harder it's going to be. But this is going to be hard. It's going to be awkward. I remember when I first started, I was terrible at this. So what you want to do is basically just obviously play with your throttle. So give it a little twist, figure out how sort of sensitive it is. The game I like to play in order to get used to it is basically you want to make it purr. So that's the key word that I use when I'm talking about this. Is that you don't want it screaming, because obviously what you're doing is getting used to this so that you can pull off nice and smoothly. Because after that you just go. So it's the beginning initial start off that needs to be the smooth one, so that you're not jerking around, you're not going too fast or too slow and falling off or flying into oncoming traffic or something. So you need to get used to this. So what you want to do is you just want to make it just ever so slightly purr. You want to treat it like it's one of them little cat anime girls, okay, that you all fantasize about, but you don't want to tell anyone. You just want to slowly stroke it, make it purr, okay? So enough of that, that's getting too real. But anyway, so yeah. So what you want to do is probably pick sort of 2,000-3,000 revs, probably about 2, depending on the size of your bike you've got, and you want to twist your throttle, and you want to try and, so I'm going to go for about 2.5. What you want to do is you want to try and hold it at the point you've selected. So there you go. So I said I was going to hold it at 2.5. You can see I'm a little bit. So there you go, 2.5, and you want to just hold it there. Right, let go of it again, and then you want to do the same thing. So back up to 2.5. When you first start, obviously you're not going to be like this, okay? Like when I first started, I was trying to get 2.5, I'm doing this, I'm going, oh geez, like, I just can't get it. And I'm like, I'm not getting any at all, or I'm getting far too much. You will get that. People are like around me thinking, why is he just sitting in a car park revving his engine? But yeah, you want to get it to, like I said, pick a number and just practice getting it to that. And what that's going to do is that's going to get you used to the actual sensitivity of your throttle. And like I said, all you need is a little bit for that initial get off anyway. And once you're used to the sensitivity, you then know how much to actually give it once you move as well. If you know it's very sensitive, you're not going to get it to 2.5, start and move off, and then suddenly just go and pin it, because you're going to wheelie or you're going to fly into the wrong side of the road, okay? So practice getting your clutch, bite, practice your throttle sensitivity. Like I said, do both of them as long as you want, really. It's completely fine. And then basically all you want to do to actually move off is basically just combine them. So what I would do is, so pull your clutch in, put yourself in first, get the bike to purr. Obviously it's going to seem weird when you do it the first time. Obviously after a little while, this is going to become second nature. You're going to do this very fast. But basically get it to purr. So I'm going to get it sit around, you know, sort of that, and then basically what you want to do is then release your clutch while you've got that purring, then release your clutch. And since you've now got throttle on, what you should be able to do is release the clutch all the way. Okay, so I'm now off the clutch. I'm doing 2,500 revs and my bike's moving. So once you've got acceleration going through, obviously you don't need the clutch anymore. So literally just get your bike to purr and then get your bite and then just go. Once you start moving, just slowly release the clutch all the way so that you're not touching it at all. Nice and simple. Keep doing that until you're completely fine with it. You got to be close to that. Gonna get this back in neutral. So yeah, get your bike to purr, release the clutch, get it to that bite point. As soon as the bike starts to move, you can then just ever so slightly increase the throttle and release the clutch at the same time. And there you go. To increase the throttle, I think I said release that, I'm not sure. Increase the throttle, release the clutch, and you'll get going. And then obviously you just speed yourself up, simple as that. So next you want to talk about is obviously braking. So obviously the front brake is very sensitive. So when you're moving, a lot of people when they first start riding, they're gonna grab that front brake. They're gonna panic and they're gonna grab it. What that's gonna do, if you grab the front brake, it's gonna basically shift all of the weight into the front of the bike. The front wheel is what you use to steer. If all of the weight's on top of the front wheel and you try and turn, you're gonna go down. Your wheel's gonna tuck and you're gonna go straight down. So you always want a bike to be as level as possible. So what you need to do is you need to brake nice and smoothly, but you also want to use your back brake as well. So what I usually say, it's about 70-80% on the front, 20 or 30% on the back. So basically if I'm going, so this is an example, I'm gonna go, and if I just grab the front brake, well, you can see obviously that was me holding myself up, but you can see I push right forward, and that's not safe at all. That's not what you want to be doing. So whereas if I go and I'm going to squeeze the front brake and a little bit of back brake, and I should come to a nice steady stop. My body and helmet basically didn't move. I wasn't thrown forward like I was before. So that's basically what you want to do. So you give a little practice before you get out on the road of just squeezing your brake, because a lot of people will grab. If you grab, that's not good. Also, don't grab while you're turning. Okay, you do not want to be grabbing your front brake while you're turning. You can trail brake, which is using your rear brake while you're turning. That's not too bad. But if you grab that front brake while your handlebars are turned, it's going to collapse and you're going to go straight down. A good way of sort of trying that without sort of damaging it too much is if you're off the bike. So hold your bike by the handlebars and walk beside it. Just walk with the bike, turn the handlebars and grab your front brake, and you'll see that the bike tries to fall on the ground, and it's not good. So if you're on it, you're going to go down. So if you're turning at slow speeds and you notice you're going a little bit too fast, you can squeeze the front brake ever so slightly, a little bit of back brake, and you should be fine. But do not grab. There's a little bit of advice for you, right? So you're braking, that's basically all you need to do. Just get used to the sensitivity of it, and like I said, just squeeze it. Don't grab it, just squeeze it, and you'll be nice and keep the bike as level as you possibly can, not all the way on the front, and you should stop nice and steadily. The more steady you stop, the easier it is for you to put your feet down, get yourself good grip, because the last thing you want is all your weight thrown forward, then you chuck your foot down, you slip and you drop your bike. It's expensive and it's very embarrassing if people are around you and you've just dropped your brand new baby, so you don't want to be doing that. So yeah, so that's basically how to get started, really. I'm just gonna probably just end it at that, really, and then on the next one I'll look at sort of changing up and down the gears, speeding up, slowing down, that kind of thing, and we'll get some cornering and stuff like that, talk about body positioning while cornering. But this lesson was just literally just getting used to the clutch, getting used to your throttle and basic braking. A little maneuver to sort of do while you're practicing all three of them is to literally just go in a big oval shape. So like I am here, just start here, get yourself a nice steady speed, go around the corner nice and slowly, and then obviously when you come down the other side of the straight, practice your braking nice and gently to a stop. You can then put it in neutral, as if you were at like a junction or something like that. Take a second and then do it again. So go back into first and take off again. Basically just practicing as if you're stopping at a junction, then pulling out from a junction. Just keep doing that. You can go a little bit faster, a little bit slower. Once you're used to them two, you're pretty sorted. A lot of people really do jump on a bike and just try and go straight out there, and they're all over the place, and you really don't want to be doing that. Getting used to them, it'll set you up good, it really will. So yes, that's enough of that, guys. Next one, like I said, we'll go through some gears and stuff like that. So that was lesson 2, and please watch lesson 3. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. If I'd left out anything out, or if you've got anything to say, just let me know in the comments, and please like or subscribe, it would be really appreciated. And until next time, guys, peace out.